for more Bungo Stray Dogs. This is episode 5. Last time, we got introduced to a gang called the Black Lizard Gang. What was it called? Let me check my notes. That's what they're here for. Bungo Stray Dogs, episode 4, the Black Lizard Group. Yeah. So we got introduced to them, and then they got absolutely decimated by us, which was great. Like, they spent the entire episode building up how strong these guys were, and then they actually used it as a way to show how strong our group was, which is great. So like, at least our main boy, who I've forgotten the name of right now, which is bad. I should be remembering the name of the main character. But Atsushi. Oh, I haven't even looked down at my notes. I think his name is Atsushi. He, I believe, you know, has now figured out you shouldn't really be doubting this squad as much. You should be sticking with us and helping us out. You know, like, don't run away because you think you're causing trouble. You'd be causing trouble by leaving us. So stay. Which is gonna be great, I think. You know, he's got some problems to work through, Atsushi, but I think he's gonna be working through those problems and growing throughout this series. And I mean, there's a lot of seasons of this show. There's like 5 seasons of this show or something so far. So there's enough time for like a decent amount of character development, I think. So anyway, let's jump into episode 5. Make sure to support the video if you can, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and go to my Patreon account for full-length early access and exclusive videos. Let's jump into this. Oh, check out my Naruto reactions. I want to keep saying that because I think they're very good and it's a lot of fun. So go check them out. Yeah, let's jump into this. Bungo Stray Dogs, episode 5.
You think you can take the marble out of this bottle?
I think I can do that.
I mean, smash
Marble? Really?
it. Yep.
Marbles are lovely, aren't they?
I thought.
Now that you mention it, yes,
Right.
they are.
I thought he was doing like a
Ranpo gonna
bar
help clean up
trick.
the
Can you
office?
take the marble out of
Hey,
this thing?
Kunakita.
But he was actually
I
asking for
can't
it.
stand. Police are always so desperate for my help. They can't capture a single criminal without me.
You got the super deduction
Fact
thing,
is, my Ultra Deduction is
Yeah.
the best ability in this agency. It's no surprise that everyone depends on it.
I mean, in terms
We're
of
all
detective
indebted
work,
to
I'm
you,
sure it is very
Good,
useful.
because the rest of you have the combined deductive powers of a pack of monkeys. The only way you can investigate anything.
Truly amazing. With your ultra deduction
It's-
skills,
they-
you can
they're
see
not
right to
pissed
the heart
off
of a
by
case
him
in an instant.
being
You're a role
so
model
high
for
on
the
himself.
agents. No, we're all gifted.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey,
Maybe they
kid,
need to stroke his
Yes?
ego.
Never. You need to go with Ranpo. You two will travel by train.
Okay.
I'm not a 2-bit detective. I don't need an assistant.
So
Then
Ranpo.
why am I going with
That's-
you?
I never bothered to learn how to take the train.
Oh. So he's probably been quite babied in his life. Like, he has an incredible ability, so he's got a big ego about it, and then people like treat him very well. There's the marble again.
Surprised at how naive Ranpo was. He didn't know anything. How to buy a ticket. I guess he really can't do anything without
Murder
using
on
his supernatural
D
ability.
Street. Is that like a Sherlock Holmes reference? Murder
You
on
know you're late, agents.
Now, hold
Baker
on,
Street?
who are
I
you?
don't know.
Where's Yasui? Every difficult case should be overseen by a master detective like
I mean, if he
me.
can
We
solve
all
it in
need
it,
private investigators
shortly.
on this. Cop who worked for me.
it's a personal case.
Her body was found floating in the river this morning.
She
Damn.
was shot 3
Very interesting. So that means you don't have any leads.
Look over there. It's a man.
You sure?
Do you think
it
that's
another
a second
body?
victim?
Or is it someone alive? Is it Dazai? That's my guess now. Yep.
Hello, Atsushi.
He was
This
trying
is
to end
quite
his
the
own
strange
life.
coincidence.
Tell me you tried to drown yourself, Samu.
Double suicide. What a sweet ring it has. By comparison,
God.
it feels so passionate and suicidal woman to die with me.
Well,
But
that's awful.
how'd you get...
Enjoying the glorious river.
But what tragedy. What a terrible situation.
Aw.
A love waste her life. She could have committed double suicide with me. My sorrow's nothing I can do to ease my pain.
Who the
What a
hell's
weird character.
Everyone on my team is better than any private dick out there.
How about we
including you
race?
bums.
Oh,
Who can figure it out first?
tell me, officer. Here's your chance. Solve this case in 60 seconds. Ready, set. If you're as good as he says you are, you should be able to do that too.
I would love to see them do
Okay,
it in
it's
less than
showtime.
60 seconds.
Let's see what you've got.
Dang, 60 seconds is impossible, don't you think?
Tick tock, 50.
hope that's not what I look like when I'm under too much pressure.
Hold on. Murderer's MO is similar to the Mafia's when they want retribution.
Okay.
Maybe the Mafia did it because they knew she was getting too close.
No.
Not a bad
The Port Mafia's
try in 60
retaliatory
seconds.
methods are quite... First, the traitor is forced on the ground and made to bite the curb.
Oh.
Then they stomp on his head to
No,
shatter his jaw.
curb stomping.
Finally, they flip him over and shoot him in the chest.
Jesus.
That means
It's a
The killer was
copycat.
attempting a cover-up?
Too bad. You've got a ways to go before your case-solving skills match mine. But don't feel bad.
So he can
You've
do it
been
in under a
useful.
minute.
You've
I
helped
wanna
us prove
see.
that Manure's best detectives are inferior to me.
Cut the crap. You've been reading too many crime novels. Cases are solved through investigation.
his power?
Interviewing
I can also figure out when and how the murder was committed. But wait, there's
I
more.
wanna see
I
it
can see
work.
in my mind's eye how to confess and where the evidence lies to prove our case.
What?
My power truly
crazy.
is a rare gift.
Bloody, then why do my colleagues and I still have a job?
My thoughts exactly. Now we're starting to understand each other.
Now, detective. Please pardon my
I mean,
colleague's
he can't be
tactless
everywhere
behavior.
at once.
What can I
So.
say? All's well that's well for me.
What's better than being alive?
Well, well, well.
Can't stop bragging about your
I like that
ability.
he didn't even
So
say
let's
it
have
out
a look
loud.
at it. Too bad you've got a lot more confidence than
He
experience.
is pretty insufferable,
You realize
Ranpo.
there's no hard evidence.
I won't need that long.
Okay.
Watch closely now, Atsushi. This is the ability that keeps the agency going.
I can't
Once he
wait.
puts on those glass, Rampo's Ultra Deduction is active.
This is what I've been most
Can't believe
excited
Rampo's
for.
ability to
Okay, here we go.
Ability.
They've been building
Ultra
this up.
Deduction.
You're trying to tell us you know who the killer is.
Of course.
Okay.
It's you? No.
The killer's you.
No way.
I know that you did it,
Oh.
Sergeant Sugimoto.
Sugimoto?
Huh? He did it?
I was gonna say I didn't think it would be
Sergeant
this
Sugimoto works for me
detective,
on the force.
but
Sergeant
Sugimoto.
Sugimoto is the one.
What stupid killer would want to come
He
to the
was the
scene
one
of
who
the
was
crime?
like, yeah, maybe it's the
Precisely why
mafia.
he's here.
You've got to be kidding me. I can't just hand
No
over
ways.
my firearm to a civilian.
Gotta be
They would
missing
take
3
my
bullets
badge
or
away.
whatever, right?
How convenient for you, Ranpo. Sugimoto, show him your gun.
But sir,
This so-called detective has barked up this tree as far as he can go. If we prove him wrong, you'll shut up and go home.
Ah, I'm
You can
excited.
show him your gun.
Even here in a city filled with criminals, it isn't easy to acquire government-issued ammunition. Or, for that matter, a government-issued weapon.
So he
Why
is
aren't you
probably
saying
missing
anything,
3 bullets.
Sugimoto?
Specifically, he's thinking about the 3 bullets he's used.
Mm-hmm.
And how he'll explain their absence.
Oh my god.
That's right, detective.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Don't do it!
Oh my god! Oh! He pushed Atsushi into it!
let me go. I'm not responsible.
Running away won't help.
I mean, you did just shoot at
I've
them.
already determined the murder took place from the bloodstains you tried but failed to erase.
God damn.
How could you know that?
His
No one
power
could
is
have figured it all
even
out.
more overpowered than I
save your
thought.
confession.
You see, she was following leads in a small-time corruption case.
Mm-hmm.
But as she...
So he ordered you to kill Yamagiwa and you obeyed like a lapdog.
That's not true. But she just wouldn't listen to me. This is
Damn.
no joke. He's taking
She's
this
too
very
honorable.
seriously.
Then I'll just have to take. I've already made contact with a prosecutor I know. I just need to hand over the evidence.
Oh.
What do you... Give me the evidence or he'll hire someone to kill you.
But then
I
you
wanna help you stay
shot her?
alive. Please do it.
Did she
No,
charge
you're
at
gonna
him?
hand over the gun. We both know you're not willing to shoot me.
You're right. I can't.
Oh
Give it
my
to me or I'll
god.
shoot.
Jesus! Oh my god, that's how it happened? She saved your life, man. She cared about you enough to not let you shoot yourself. Aww. What did she say? Oh my god.
There's still the matter of what you did with the body. You were in a bind. You
Yeah.
panicked and made a rat, so you fired 2 more shots into her chest. Gamoto.
My power?
Guess what her final words
Surely,
were?
surely
I have
his
an idea.
power can help them find about the politician as well.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Correct?
that was her final.
I'm sorry.
Oh
So sorry.
man. She's a character that was dead before we saw her for the first time, and I'm really sad she's dead.
Thank you, I suppose.
Thanks for thanking us, at
I'm
least.
sorry I doubt I'll come to you the next time we get a tough case.
Thanks, man. Hey, that's
If you need my ultra
very
deduction
honorable
abilities,
of
all
you.
you have to do is ask. I may even give you a discount.
Appreciate the offer.
That's
Ranpo
honorable
did
of him
that
to
thing
like
was amazing.
admit he was wrong.
I had this, but I might have figured out half of it too.
Half of what?
Oh right, I forgot. You don't know about him yet. See, the truth is, Ranpo isn't gifted with special powers.
Oh, he's just.
Ranpo is, despite appearances, he's an ungifted member of the crime-fighting team at
What?
the Armed Detective Agency.
No
He
way.
himself seems to believe he's childish. He's 26 years old. The is because they know his ultra deduction isn't an ability.
That's
I
crazy.
had heard about it, but today was the first time
But-
I got to witness. And here's a little secret. I put it to the test. Today, I was secretly pinching his hair behind him.
To try to negate it.
As you well know, unique power is to neutralize anyone's
Yeah.
ability if I touch them. A gifted person can use their ability while I'm in physical contact
he
with
still
them.
did
This
his.
has always been true.
Hold on. Then how did he?
Pure deduction. There's nothing ultra about it.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
what a twist.
He figured out who the killer was in such a short time.
And he figured out
How
so
could
much
deduction alone
crazy
solve a
shit.
hard case like that?
Any innocent person who saw a body with 3 gunshot wounds would assume they were fired at the same time. That implied he knew the victim had died from the first shot. He was performed.
Because he
I
was
guess
the
that's true.
shooter. But Ranpo
But there's
also knew
more-
when the murder had been committed.
Ye-
Said it was yesterday morning.
He
That's
knew her
because
last word.
He observed the victim, so at most, it'd only been floating in the river for a day. Also, she looked as if for work, she had no makeup on, so the murder clearly occurred in the early morning.
Interesting.
Especially how he was able to figure out what her final words were.
Oh, well,
That might have been a
that I
guess. Oh.
not something a young woman on a detective salary would ordinarily buy for herself. Sugimoto's watch was the men's version of the same luxury brand.
Right.
So then
She went to see him right away without a trace of makeup. She trusted him. They even wore matching watches. It
I was
tells
gonna
me
say
they
the thing
were in
about the
love.
makeup. Like, I don't know.
With
I was
such
like,
strong
she was
feelings
gonna
for
meet
her,
him.
He couldn't kick her. He knew it wouldn't look like the mafia's work, but it was just too much for him to bear.
I was also gonna say that.
Supernatural power, nothing really worth getting credit for.
And that's
But
why
if
she
it's due
stopped
to
him
his
from
natural
shooting
personal
himself.
powers of deduction.
Somebody's not doing their job. You're supposed to help me find my way back to the agency.
I mean, that does make it.
All's well that's well for me.
That does make it better. Him like not using a power means, you know, he has kind of earned this ability. Okay, great. So since we saw the list of all the powers, I remember Ultra Deduction was the one that I was speculating about the most. So I was really excited to see this episode. And now we found out that that it's not even a power. Also, okay, here's a question. If like Itagawa Ranpo, let me look up Itagawa Ranpo, like the actual person. Like, are they one, a detective author? Ranpo, not Ranpo. Are they a detective author? And okay, so they were a Japanese author and critic who played a major role in the development of Japanese mystery and thriller fiction. Many of his novels involved the detective hero Kogoro Akechi, who in later books was the leader of a group of boy detectives known as the Boy Detectives Club. I've heard about the Boy Detectives Club. So damn, yeah, he's from 1894 to 1965. So yeah, quite a long time ago. But yeah, okay. So yeah, he had the Private Detective Kogoro Akechi series, which is like all about the Boy Detective Club. One of the things he wrote is called The Black Lizard, which is funny because last episode we had the Black Lizard group or whatever, right? But it seems like he's got a lot of stuff. It feels like, I don't know if this is true or not, but it feels like from what I'm looking at here, he reminds me of like, he's like the Japanese version of Doyle. Is that the name of the Sherlock Holmes author? Who's a Sherlock Holmes? Yeah, so Arthur Conan Doyle, yeah. It feels like he's maybe like the Japanese version of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. But yeah, interesting. So I feel like, man, yeah, Persona 5 has a detective character named Goro Akechi, which is a reference to Akechi Kogoro. Yeah, it makes sense, because I play Persona 5, and when I saw Akechi Kogoro, I did immediately think like, oh, that reminds me of a different character, and that's the character it reminded me of, Goro Akechi. But yeah, anyway, so like I just found this interesting. I also wanted to see like, if Ultra Deduction was like, if that was just, because I don't know exactly how the powers are here, but No Longer Human is the name of Osamu Dazai's book, right? Does Yosano Akiko have a book called Thou Shalt Not Die? Let's see, hold on. Yosano Akiko. Or a book or a poem or something. Like that's kind of what I'm looking for. Yosana's poem, Kimi Shinitamo Koto Nakare, Thou Shalt Not Die, addressed to her younger brother. Yeah, so she did have something called Thou Shalt Not Die. We did see the guy with the light snow had a thing called light snow or whatever. So like it seems like their powers are named after their work, except Itagawa Ranpo. His wasn't named after his work. His was named after like the kind of work that he could do, like the kind of things he could do, but it wasn't named after a specific book by the looks of it. And if that's the case, then that would be why, right? Because it's not the actual name of his power. It's like something that he came up with. So like in, you know, like from a meta perspective, were they hinting at the fact that it wasn't a real power by that was the only name that didn't refer to one of their works? But I don't know, maybe Dopo, because the Dopo, like one of the powers is just called Dopo Poet, right? That doesn't sound like the name of a work. So maybe not. I don't know. Regardless, I've been speculating about that the whole time because I've been saying like how I thought it worked. By the end, it looks like it did work basically how I thought it did. Pretty much exactly how I thought it did. But like for the most of the episode, I was watching and I was going, oh, you know what? It's actually like not what I thought it was. It's actually more magical than I thought it was. But then by the end, they said, actually, there's no magic involved in it at all. And that threw me for a loop. Because, like, I went into it expecting it was going to be, like, really, like... It was going to be technically an ability. It's going to be technically the magic system. And yet, what he was actually going to do would just be Sherlock Holmes bullshit. Right? And so I was looking forward to seeing that, and then I was like, oh, no, actually, it's just super magic. And then by the end, they were like, no, it's Sherlock Holmes bullshit. Because, like, when, like, okay, so what made me think it was magic was, firstly, I mean, they did the whole animation with it, but the animation doesn't really mean anything. He's just standing there and farming aura. But then he was like, I can figure out, like, not only who the killer is, but I can figure out where we can find the evidence that'll prove it. And then even stuff like their last words, which is like that felt like there's no way that can happen without just that being magic. And I mean, even that, they didn't, like, fully explain, and I think it's fine they didn't fully explain it. They said, like, that, like, oh, because they were in a relationship, because we deduced all of this stuff, they were in a relationship. But then, you know, there's still a jump there between, like, they were in a relationship, therefore her final words were, I'm sorry. When her final words could have been, I love you. It could have been, like, she could have not had time for final words. She could have not known what to say. She could have said, how could you? You know, like, I feel like there's a bunch of stuff you could say if you're in a relationship with that person. Even something simple like it's similar to I'm sorry, but like don't blame yourself or something. It's not your fault, you know? But anyway, I think it was very cool to see how all of that played out. And like even some of the stuff there was stuff that I did kind of think about at the very least. Like, I mean, when they said at least that the that they were in a relationship. Well, no, before they said they were in a relationship, they said like, oh, it was early morning. She didn't have time to do her makeup, blah, 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 right? And like in my head, I was going through a bunch of stuff. And I mean, this is classic Sherlock Holmes stuff where they make deductions and then like very often we as viewers can be like, hang on, what if she just like didn't, you know, like what if she just didn't put on much makeup? Or what if she chose like, you know, like we try to put like, you know, poke holes in it immediately. But like the thing is, for these stories, I think it's more fun to just be like, hey, these deductions, it's more fun if you don't try to nitpick every single part about it. Like it's the point is these deductions might even like not be all of the deductions. This is just what they're telling us. So like maybe it's, oh, like, you know, she didn't wear makeup, whatever. You might be like, well, what if she doesn't wear makeup often, or she ran out of, you know, a certain thing of makeup that day, or blah blah blah, or this or that, you know, and you can like start doing that, and it's like, well, maybe the detective actually had like 10 more bits of evidence that supported why it was that, but they just told you one of them because we've only got a certain amount of time in this TV show, you know. But also, like one of my first thoughts while that was happening is like, okay, she wasn't wearing makeup, and I thought like, well, you know what, like if I was going to a meeting with another person, like if I was her and I was going to a meeting with another person, maybe I would have put on makeup. Like, it's interesting, she knew she was going to meet with someone, and like, you know, maybe she'd want to look presentable for this person, just because, you know, like not to try to impress him necessarily, but like she's a professional, so like maybe she would have. But then once they revealed that they're in a relationship, I was like, this makes actually a lot of sense to me, because it's like she would be more comfortable around him and like not need to like present herself in any particular way, so she wouldn't need to wear makeup around him, you know? And like I actually felt like that rang true to me. Like when they revealed their relationship, my first thought was, oh, that's why the no makeup, which is crazy. And like, you know, it's still a leap in logic to make, but it's a leap in logic that made sense to me. But what was the other thing? They were in a relationship. I swear there was something else that I was thinking in relation to that. But maybe not. Let me just look at the scene again. That's right, I remember now. It was, the other thing was like, okay, so when he had done the like shot, and then they were like, oh, you should like you should make it look like a mafia hit, and then he shot her 3 times. I thought in my mind, like, it's interesting that he would know about the shooting 3 times, but he wouldn't know about the curb stomping part of it. And then as he was like this, I'm just going to tell you like what was literally happening in my brain as I'm watching the scene. And it's times like these that I wish that I was saying them out loud, but at the same time, if I was saying them out loud, I would be missing dialogue that was happening. And I don't want to be missing dialogue. Now, of course, I could just pause the episode, but firstly, breaks up the rhythm of the episode, and I feel like that takes me out of it too much. And secondly, I do full-length versions for my Patreon people, and if I pause the episode constantly, it's almost impossible for people to sync up with me, so it's not really something that I can do. But anyway, while that scene was going on, I remember my thought, it was exactly the point where he was placing her in the river, right? And wait, was it that point? Maybe I was like reiterating that point in my mind then. Was it? Hang on, where was the point in the river? Was that before or after we found out they were in a relationship? I'm trying to figure that out now. Because if it was before, that was exactly the moment. Oh my gosh. I know this is like, this does not matter, but it does kind of matter to me. Well, anyway, I think it might have been before. And so I think that was the moment. I thought, like, while it was happening, that, like, wouldn't it be interesting if, you know, like, maybe he didn't want to do the curb stomp bit because it seems too barbaric or whatever, right? That was what I was thinking. And sometimes when I'm watching shows like these, I try to think about like how I might write the scene, you know, like if they gave me this scene and was like, hey, you want to touch this up or whatever, you want to change some things about it. I might have said like, hey, maybe you should add in a thing about like why he didn't, like maybe he did know about the curb stomping and he didn't do it. And you know, you could like, maybe that's too far, but then I was like, but then again, he shot her. Like, I don't know, like, at that point he was already like going so far into it, so like why wouldn't he do it? Like this random woman, why wouldn't he do it? But then they say they're in a relationship, and so like that was the reason. He knew about the curb stomping thing, but he was like, I can't curb stomp my girlfriend's dead body. Like that's too much, you know? Even though, who knows? I wonder if, I doubt it, but I wonder if he would have been able to get away with it if it wasn't for that, you know? Like if he did it perfectly, if he really like covered that up well and did that, and like did the curb stomping and then the 3 shots or whatever, because like now, especially now that we know that the Ultra Deduction isn't a power, it's actually just him using deduction, that does imply to me that if it's a perfect crime, he's doomed, you know? So yeah, I wonder. And I also wonder if the writer of this series originally was going to have Ultra Deduction actually be a power, but then was like, you know what? Like, it might open up a can of worms in, like, every time there's a mystery, why don't you just have him solve it or whatever? So instead, why don't we make it so that it's actually valuable? And we explain how it's valuable right now, which is that it's not a power. So I wonder if that's, I mean, it is way better. It's way more interesting, it not being a power, I think. I think it was a good decision overall. Because also, as I said at the end, like, it does make his ego more tolerable to me, because if it is an actual talent of his, if he was gifted this power from birth and he's such a tool about it, that's a slightly different thing than him actually working for this power, even though he thinks that he had it from birth. Maybe him actually like somewhat working for the power, being intelligent enough, you know, and practicing enough with it, and then still being a tool about it, you know? Like, I think I can accept it a bit more if it's something that he's earned, you know? Like, I'm more alright with an athlete shit talking, like, you know, the world's like, you know, if LeBron James was to shit talk people and be like, I'm so much better than you because I'm good at basketball, I would be able to tolerate that way more than someone who was like, I'm 6'8", which LeBron also could probably do. But like, you know, I'm 6'8", motherfucker, I'm better than you. It's like, well, you didn't earn being 6'8", so like, you're being even worse than that, you know? Like, or like, look at my jawline, you know, stuff like that. Whereas like LeBron James, this motherfucker trained his ass off and continues to train his ass off. Like, the amount of work that dude puts in to, like, obviously part of it is also he's gifted, just like Ranpo, who, like, of course with him as well, like, it is also a gift. It has to be, right? Like, he has to have had like this sort of gifted mind from an early age, but there has to have also been work put into that, you know? Same with LeBron James. His body is a freak of nature. It's like something that has like almost never been seen before, for him to have that incredible body. Most people's body couldn't handle that. At the same time, he also worked fucking hard for that shit, you know? So yeah, anyway, That was great. That was a great episode. I really enjoyed that. That was Bungo Stray Dogs episode 5. Thank you for joining me. Make sure to support this video if you can, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And go to my Patreon account for full-length early access and exclusive videos. Check out my Naruto reactions. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.